Tommy, first and foremost, tonight was obviously a big occasion because of the situation and the circumstance of what happened. I just wanted to ask, it must have been nice to you to see the minute silence observed and both teams playing a very sportsmanly game in memory of Billy Vigar.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a tragedy what's happened to Billy, and my thoughts and deepest condolences go to all his close family and friends, people who knew him from Eastbourne as well. I know a couple of the lads attended the funeral the other day with Alan and what have you, and so yeah, I mean, look, these things touch home. We shouldn't be saying goodbye to people younger than ourselves. My family have had that experience themselves, and it's something that stays with you. So from that point of view, yes, and I expect no different from the people of Eastbourne or the people of Chichester to show the deepest sympathy and the best of respects. And I thought the minute silence was fantastic, and the referee, in fairness to him, banged on 22 minutes as well. Give us all a chance to do a minute's applause, which I thought was a real touching thing. So yeah, I mean, listen, he should never be forgotten, and like I said, it's an absolute tragedy that we've lost a young soul.
Well, we progressed through to the next round of the Sussex Cup tonight, but Chichester certainly didn't make it easy for us. We went to penalties. What were your thoughts on the performance as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, look, it was another game where we saw a lot of the ball. We had a lot of chances. We didn't work the goalkeeper enough in the first half. We tweaked it a bit at half time, and I felt a little bit more presence at the front of the pitch in numbers wise sort of really helped us. And we came out and turned the game on its head. Having been 1-0 down at half time, I asked them, could they do it as a group, could they turn it round, and they reacted really well. But I was disappointed that once we scored, we almost sort of took our foot off the gas a little bit and allowed them back into the game through our own errors. And that was the frustrating part of it. Other than that, I thought it was us knocking on the door and then breaking away towards the end. But at the end of the day, cup competitions are about progression, and I feel this is a competition we could win. So it doesn't matter how you get through, you just got to get through to the next round. And ultimately, when you look at the programme in a couple of weeks' time, there'll be a W in the column, and that's 2 wins out of 4. So we're pleased with that.
Well, these last 2 games then, Chesham and Chichester tonight, both at home, both games where we saw a great deal of dominance in that game, but lacking a ruthlessness to put the game away. From that position then, it's kind of quite clear on what we need to do, and you must be confident that we can convert that into goals.
Well, I'm very confident of what we need to do, and I'm very clear in my messages to the players. It's very difficult sometimes, I don't question the lads' effort, but sometimes there's effort and then there's intelligent effort. And you can be, some people perceive it to be lazy, some people perceive it to be that they don't care, and I don't think it's that at all. I think they've had a lot of information from one voice in 10 days that I've been here, and that's 4 games we've played. So you've got to give them a little bit of credit, because there's definitely a change in the way that we're playing, but I've got to be at it on a daily basis and with them as individuals as well as a group to maintain my message, because I'm not going to change that message, and I think the vast majority will be able to remain on board. But football is football, some will move on. We'll see new faces eventually, because recruitment's a fluid thing. It's not forever. Football is a moving thing. So, but look, I've got to give credit to the lads. I think you remember they're young lads who stepped up to take the penalties. 100% return on them, and certainly saved a couple. So we deserve to go through. I think we probably had more than. We had 14 attempts at goal on Saturday, and I think we had more than that today. Like you said, we just need to be a bit more ruthless in the final third.
Well, today also gave you a chance to look at some of the faces you haven't seen that well since you came in. Kingsley getting a 90, Victor coming on scoring. Has it given you some things to think about ahead of Saturday?
Well, yeah, ultimately, but that was why I did what I did. Obviously, a few lads had a rest who played all of the games so far. We had a look at it's Surly instead of Sandy. So yeah, I've got to see everybody bar Joe and Maz, who are available, and George, who's injured. So I've seen all of them on the pitch for a relatively decent amount of time now. So having had four training sessions with them all, so I'm getting to know them all. I know them all by name and by face now. So I'm really confident in that I'm finding my way with them. Because look, it's not just about finding them about footballers. I've got to find out about them as human beings, because they are human beings, and they don't want me screaming and shouting at them every minute of every game. And it's difficult because I have levels of expectation, and I have levels that I want them to get to, and I won't drop to a level of mediocrity just to satisfy them.